There's a shade of white reserved for a brother's face when he walks into the interview for his dream job and finds his estranged sister waiting as the CEO. My name is Elena Vance. Yesterday, I watched my brother Leo's future dissolve in a boardroom that reports to me. 3 years ago, he gave our parents an ultimatum, him or me for the holidays. They chose him. Every year after, my chair stayed empty. While they toasted his potential, I was building an empire in silence. He came here today to secure his destiny. He just didn't know it was already mine to give. The fracture started with a phone call I can still hear perfectly. It was December 29th. I was in a shared office space, surrounded by other people's ambition and the smell of burnt coffee. When my mom's name flashed on my screen, I already felt that familiar squeeze in my chest. "Hi, Mom," I said, bracing for small talk. She didn't bother. Her voice was honey-sweet and tight. "Sweetheart, your brother feels it would be easier if you sat out the New Year's dinner this time. You know the pressure he's under with his MBA." I stared at my computer, the numbers blurring. "He feels?" I repeated slowly. "Or you all decided for him?" On her end, I heard the clink of a spoon against a pot and the low hum of their TV. It was the silence of a decision made in my absence. Then my father's weary voice came on the line. "Leo is carrying a heavy load, Elena. Scholarships, expectations. Don't make this about you. It's just one dinner. Just one dinner." As if the point of the night wasn't family. As if I hadn't spent a lifetime making myself smaller to fit at their table. The real issue had happened weeks before. Leo had sent me an ethics paper for his graduate course, asking for a quick polish. The document was plagiarized, nearly word for word from an article I knew. When I refused to help him cheat, he turned vicious. "You're just jealous," he hissed. "Mom and Dad are proud of me for once. You could help, but you'd rather watch me fail." He must have gone to our parents that night with a story of his own, that I was withholding help out of spite. By the time my mother called about the holidays, the narrative was set. In their eyes, Leo wasn't the cheater. I was the difficult one, the obstacle to their peace. "So let me get this straight," I said, my voice trembling. "I say no to cheating, and the punishment is I don't get to see my family on the one night we're supposed to be together?" My mother sighed her trademark sigh of disappointment. "You know how you two are. There's always tension. Leo said he won't come if you're there. He needs our support right now. Can't you be the bigger person?" There it was. The phrase that had been weaponized against me since childhood. Be the bigger person. Translation: swallow your hurt, silence yourself, and disappear so everyone else can be comfortable. That first year, I agreed. I told myself it was temporary, mature, for the sake of peace. I ate microwave noodles alone in my apartment while my phone buzzed with pictures from their celebration. In every photo, my parents had their arms around Leo, beaming. My name wasn't even in the captions. That empty chair at their table became a permanent fixture. The exclusion, once a shocking betrayal, calcified into tradition. Some families pass down recipes. Mine passed down silence. While my family perfected the art of my absence, I was building a different world. Apex Venture Partners started as a desperate idea in a rented room above a cafe. The bass from the bar below would shake our ceiling every Friday night. I was just another founder surviving on caffeine and conviction, sleeping on couches and wearing the same blazer to every investor meeting. I learned to say, "We're pre-revenue but scaling fast," with a straight face. Investors would tell me I was impressive for my age, and then fund men with weaker ideas but more confidence. I learned to hear no without believing it. While my parents bragged about Leo's GPA at family barbecues, I was pulling 18-hour days. My mission was a platform that let everyday people invest in local businesses, not just faceless corporate funds. Money was a phantom. I maxed out credit cards, sold anything of value, and lived on instant noodles. The grind was a silent, furious engine. My parents never asked for details. We don't really understand what you do, but good for you, they'd say, before swiftly changing the subject back to Leo's professors or internship prospects. To them, I was just good with numbers, vaguely successful but emotionally distant. Leo was the one with real potential, the golden child whose success would be their redemption. Why, the third year of my exile, the sleepless nights began to crystallize. We secured our first major funding round. Real clients. Real revenue. A small, fierce team that believed in the mission. I negotiated a quiet buyout that left me as the majority owner, and soon after, CEO. But this reality didn't exist in my family's universe. In their story, I had simply chosen my career over family, as if the two were mutually exclusive and I had coldly discarded them. That third New Year's Eve, a deep cold settled over the city. I was in my apartment, my laptop open on the coffee table. On one side of the screen, my dashboard glowed with live metrics. New accounts opening, capital flowing, small businesses hitting their goals. On the other side, my phone lit up with notifications from the family group chat. Picture after picture. Leo at the center of a laughing table, my mother's perfect roast, gold streamers on the wall. I was a ghost in their digital celebration. But then, I stumbled onto their backstage. My cousin accidentally added me to a private family Facebook group. The first post I saw was from my mother under a photo of Leo in a suit. She had written, "So proud of Leo. Once he lands this job at Apex, our worries are over. He'll finally be where he belongs. Elena just doesn't get family like he does. She chose her career. Leo chose us." There it was. The official story. I wasn't the daughter who had been quietly wiring them money for years. I was the defector. The comments were a chorus of heart emojis and, "So true." Later, a shaky toast video played. Over the clinking glasses, I heard my mother's voice. "Once Ryan gets that position at Apex, he'll finally be where he belongs. Elena should stay out of his way for once." They were planning his future at my company, joking about which departments I should avoid. They had built their entire fantasy of salvation around a throne they didn't know I owned. The morning of Leo's interview, I put on a suit that felt like armor. The office lobby hummed with a different energy. It wasn't just another Tuesday, it was the day my two worlds would collide. My COO, Maya, met me outside the conference room. "You saw the posts?" she murmured. I nodded. "They think Apex is just some big, faceless firm. They think I'm going to sabotage him out of pettiness." "We don't owe them anything," Maya said, her expression hard. "We don't," I agreed. "But I owe myself. I need to stop letting them write my story." Inside, Jordan from HR was organizing packets. They gave me a slight, knowing nod. We'd spoken. They knew the candidate was my brother, and that I wanted the process to be fair. "You're sure you want to be in the room?" Jordan asked quietly. "We can handle this." "No," I said. "He's been deciding where I'm allowed to exist for years. This time, I decide if he belongs." Minutes before the interview, my phone buzzed. A text from my mother, sending good luck to Leo today. "This means so much to us. Maybe if it goes well, we can all be together next New Year's. Don't make it awkward." No acknowledgement of my position. Just another instruction to be small, to not disrupt the family narrative. I locked my phone, placed it face down, and took my seat at the head of the table. When Leo walked in, he didn't see me. He was too busy scanning the room, absorbing the sleek logo on the wall, ready to charm the panel. He looked at Jordan, at the other executives. To him, I was just his older sister who worked too much, another manager in the room. "Before we begin," Jordan said, turning to me, "I'd like you to meet someone. Leo, this is our CEO, Elena Vance." His head snapped toward me. Our eyes locked. His practiced, confident smile shattered, then vanished completely. All the color drained from his face, leaving that specific, pale shade of utter shock. "You're the CEO," he stammered, his voice shrinking. "Since when?" "Officially, for about a year," I said, keeping my tone level. "Unofficially, I've been building this for much longer." The interview proceeded, but his polish was gone. He fumbled through textbook answers about teamwork and deadlines. I waited, letting the others ask their questions. Finally, I leaned forward. "Can you describe a situation," I asked, "where you had to choose between protecting your own comfort and doing what was ethically right for a group?" His eyes flickered with panic. He knew exactly what I was referencing. The ethics paper. The holiday ultimatum. I always try to do what's best for the team," he mumbled. "Sometimes that means making hard calls. Even if that call hurts someone?" I pressed. He swallowed. "Sometimes people just don't fit," he blurted out. "You can't let one person ruin the environment for everyone else." That word, environment, was a trigger. It was the same language my mother had used. "Interesting," I said. "And if the person you're excluding is contributing more than anyone else, working harder, carrying more weight, do you still remove them to keep everyone else comfortable?" The silence in the room was absolute. Leo floundered after that, talking in circles about company culture. The final question came from Jordan. "Why Apex? Why this role?" Leo straightened up, grasping for his rehearsed answer. "Honestly, my family is counting on me. My parents have sacrificed a lot. If I get this job, it changes everything for them. And I've heard this is where you go to work with the best." He glanced at me, a desperate, fleeting look. "And I know someone here, so I thought it would be a good fit." There it was. Not "I want to grow" or "I believe in the mission." It was "my family needs me to save them." No acknowledgement of the financial lifeline I'd been providing them for years. "Thank you, Leo," I said, closing my notebook. "We have what we need." He looked panicked. "Wait," he blurted. "Just tell me, did I fail because of this?" He gestured between us. "Because of the family stuff?" Jordan stepped in smoothly. "We evaluate all candidates on skills, experience, and values." I held his gaze. "And our values," I added, "are non-negotiable." He didn't wait for the rejection email. That night, he showed up at my apartment door, tie loose, his confidence shattered. "You set me up," he accused, pacing my living room. "The job was public. You applied." "I recused myself from the early rounds," I stated calmly. "You could have told me," he shouted. "All those dinners, them talking about how this job would rescue us, and you said nothing." "You mean the dinners I wasn't invited to?" The question hung in the air. He flinched. I opened my laptop and showed him what I'd found, the screenshot of our mother's post, the video of the toast where my name was a punchline. He watched, his face ashen. "They didn't mean it like that," he started weakly. "They meant every word," I cut in. "When you gave them the ultimatum, they chose you. When you needed me to cheat for you, they said I was selfish. Now, they've pinned their hopes on a job at my company, assuming I'm the one who'll ruin it. I'm always the problem in their story." He sank onto my sofa, defeated. "I thought you were just being dramatic. They said you'd be fine, that you always land on your feet." "They never asked how many times I was knocked down on the way back up," I said quietly. The critical question finally came. "Are you going to tank my career?" he whispered. "Is this your revenge?" "No," I said. "I won't sabotage you. But I won't lie for you either." I sat across from him. "You weren't ready. You relied on charm and our parents' expectations, not your own merit. That's not a CEO's decision. It's a child's." His shoulders slumped. "So I just lose." "Sometimes," I said, "losing is the only lesson that makes you grow. Here's what I will do. I'll tell HR you have potential, but you're not ready for the role you wanted. If you're willing to start in a junior position, actually learn, and stop expecting shortcuts, I'll support your application. No guarantees. No special treatment. You'll report to a manager who isn't me. You'll earn every single step. He looked up, stunned. That feels like a punishment. It's not punishment, I said. It's reality. For the first time, you'd be standing on your own feet, not on our parents' fantasy. To his credit, he didn't quit when he realized the work was grueling and unglamorous. Endless spreadsheets, late nights, and criticism from managers who didn't care about his last name. For the first time, when he failed, he couldn't blame me. My parents, however, did not adapt. When Leo told them he didn't get the manager job, my mother called me, furious. How could you humiliate your own brother? Do you know how this looks to everyone? The old urge to explain and appease flared, but I let it die. Mom, I said evenly. Leo didn't get a job he wasn't qualified for. He got a job where he can actually learn. That's not humiliation. That's mercy. We're family, she snapped. Family helps each other. Family doesn't ban a daughter from dinner for refusing to cheat, I replied, my voice steady. Family doesn't joke about her while planning their son's career in a company she built. You helped Leo. You never once offered to help me. There was a long silence. Then softly, we didn't think you needed it. That, I said, was your first mistake, and you've been paying for it ever since, whether you see it or not. When the next holiday invitation came, a group text hoping for a clean slate, I didn't hesitate. I typed back, I'm not coming this year. I'm open to rebuilding a relationship, but not at the table where I was a ghost for years. If you want me in your life, it has to be in the daylight, not just when you need something from my company. I didn't wait for a reply. That night, I didn't check their photos. Instead, I hosted my own dinner. Maya, friends from the office, a few of the small business owners we'd helped fund. At midnight, we stood on my terrace, glasses raised against the glittering skyline. Leo texted me a single picture from our parents' house. Their festive table, with one empty chair at the end. No caption. A few minutes later, a second message arrived. I told them everything. About the ultimatum, the plagiarism, how I used you. They didn't take it well, but it was time. I'm sorry, Elena. For all of it. I believed him. Not because of the words, but because of the empty chair. He had finally let them feel the absence they'd forced on me. Thank you, I replied. That's between you and them. My life doesn't orbit their approval anymore. Neither should yours. He wrote back, maybe next year we have our own dinner. Just us. No ultimatums. I smiled then, a slow, quiet smile that comes when a deep wound finally begins to scar over. Perhaps, I answered, if you bring dessert. Here's the truth about family and revenge that no one tells you. The real victory isn't watching them crumble. It's not the dramatic confrontation or the public shaming. The triumph is standing so solidly in who you are and what you've built that they can no longer move you around their board. It's choosing your own table, setting your own terms, and finding your own peace. It's finally being so complete in yourself that the echo from the empty chair they left for you doesn't haunt you anymore. It just reminds you how far you've come. The most powerful closure isn't something they give you. It's the world you build for yourself when you stop waiting for an invitation. This story is about more than family drama. It's about the quiet power of building something of your own when the world tells you you don't belong. If this narrative of silent resilience and self-defined victory resonated with you, if you've ever felt underestimated or exiled, then this channel is for you. I need you to do 2 things right now. First, tap the like button. That single click tells the YouTube algorithm that this story has value, that it needs to be shared with others who might be building in silence right now, who need to hear that their work matters. Second, subscribe to Winds of Thought. We are dedicated to stories exactly like this, tales of psychological depth, personal transformation, and the unseen strength it takes to rebuild your world from the foundation up. When you subscribe, you tell us you want more content that explores the complex landscapes of family, ambition, and identity. Your support is what allows us to dive deep and bring these narratives to light. Every like, every subscription, fuels this channel and helps a story find the person who needs to hear it most. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me this. Asterisk if you had to build a table of your own today, a symbol of your worth, your success, your peace, who would you invite to it first? And who, from your past, would have to earn their seat? Asterisk. Let's start a conversation about what we build when we stop waiting for permission. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this community. Your story is next.